Hi, Brenda, how are you? Hi, Sherry, how are you?
Good.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm going to install a software for you, so I will do it one by one, okay? So now let me get started with Sherry. Sherry, you go first. Share your screen, please. I'll go one by one. Today we have one software I want to install. Okay, let me help you. Okay, so the software we are going to install is, okay, for everyone else, please wait for me, okay? I'm going to install for you. So this one we are going to install is called graphics is this one, graphic.py. So it actually is pip install graphic.py. Okay, how to install it? Actually, you go to get the file folder, and then you go to your, let's see, your C drive. Go to the Python. You wait for me, okay? I'll install for everyone, so don't worry, okay? I'll install for everyone. Let me see. So where is your Python? Your Python is not installed here. There is no Python. Let me see. Maybe your school install for you. Let me check. You probably go to this one, public documents. Okay, I don't know where your Python is, but it's okay. Let me actually do this. Window R, green command line. It should be the same, okay? It should be the same since you, I don't know where it is, but you can do pip install, okay, and then graphics.py, okay, that's what we want to install. Okay, I think it's downloaded and installing it, okay? Okay, you should be fine, okay? Wait until you finish. Okay, it's done, okay? You are done, so you can close everything that I opened. Next one, let me have Belinda. Belinda, your turn. You share your screen, okay? I'll do it one by one, okay? This is very short. So I'm not going to do the same thing. You share the whole screen, not just not just the browser. I don't need the browser. I need a whole window. Okay, so I'm not going to browse the internet anymore. I just want to open your window. Okay, and then let's go to your C drive. Some of you, because you have Python installed by some other teacher, so you may not have the same environment. So here you just type in CMD, okay? So same thing right here, you do pip install graphics py, okay? Okay, so you wait until you finish everything, okay? Should be fine now. Okay, you're done. Now next one, let me have Vienna, your turn. Okay, one moment, okay? So you go to C drive, you go to Python, okay? Here, window R, CMD, okay? Then install graphics.py, go.
Mr. Cho, you didn't type it right. You put
Yeah.
Install.
Like, I think graphics is like,
Yeah. Don't worry. Okay.
yeah.
This computer reacts slowly. Sometimes typing too fast. Okay, don't worry. Okay, I see it's okay now. So this is show you when there is an extra package you want to install, how to install it, okay? How you install your extra package. Now next one, let me have Benjamin. Benjamin, your turn. I want to make sure everyone install the same package, okay?
I just I think I already installed it. Is that right? I'm not sure. Yeah. That was it.
I don't know whether you install it right or not, but you actually use a PowerShell.
Because that's
You install in the PowerShell mode. I'm not sure whether it's correct or not. Okay.
I think mm,
Okay. I hope it doesn't create trouble, but that could
I
be a
don't know.
problem.
Python is
Anyway, you install the Python yourself before. It's not my installation, so I'm not sure. You need to be responsible by yourself. Okay. It's okay.
yeah.
It's okay. I'm fine. Your teacher installed it for you before, so I'm not sure how it works for you. Anyway, that's okay. What I want to say is that this one is an extra package. It's called graphic.py. Okay, and this version actually is actually primarily for this textbook that we are using. Okay, it is only for this textbook that we are using. Is using this graphic module. It's by John Lera's textbook. We are using this one, and the homework right here is actually following this graphic.py module. Today we are going to go for chapter 4, object and graphics. That's why we need it. Okay. In addition to that, you actually hear this the so-called this one's called PyPI. Okay, this one called PyPI website. PyPI website is called Python pip install. Python pip install site. Okay, PyPI is a Python package index. Okay, so Python package index, you actually can install a lot of package that you actually want to have. Okay, so maybe like Python geographic maps. Okay, just Python geometric graphs. There are many of them very useful, like GeoPandas, is different kind of tool you can use to plot maps. Okay, these are different packages, and then if you want to install it, say let's assume that you want to install Python GeoPandas, you can come to here and then you say GeoPandas. And right here, you have tons of the GeoPandas package that you can install. Okay, so you search the internet, you think about anything that you want to use, like Python chart. Okay, Python charts. And then this one, Python graphic gallery. Okay. So this one Python chart, okay, and then you say PYPI Python chart 1.39. You can install some Python chart library. Okay, so you search for the internet that you know, and then there are a lot of the Python package you basically can install from this Python package index site, PYPI site. Okay, that's what I'm teaching you today. To install newer packages that you can have. Some of the graphic interfaces say Python Qt, okay, Python Qt, and then you can do PYPI Python Qt. Python Qt5, okay, you can install Python Qt5. Qt5 is a whole user libraries, okay? Anyway, today we are not going to install everything. We just want you to know that that's actually related to install a new package from the internet, okay? If you need some package like from internet, you want to use it. I already installed a lot of package like NumPy, SciPy, Pandas, those kind of tool for you, okay? And then we will teach you how to use it later. But in case that you need more library, you can still do it, okay? So today we are going to teach you object and graphics, okay? Object and graphics. So let's get started for this chapter. So first thing is that you need to know what is object and graphics, okay? So far we teach you the topic of the string, tuple, list, set, and then dictionary. Okay, these are the basic compound data type. But sometimes you can have the user-defined type. Okay, and then we call it class. And class could create object. Okay, class could create object. So today we are talking about this object and class and the Windows graphics. Okay, usually object-oriented programming is used for Windows environment. Okay, and then object, in terms of object, okay, object you can use dictionary to represent it. You can use class to represent it. These two different ways. Either way can represent a class. Okay, now let's actually look at them. Okay, now let's look at them. So let me bring up the Visual Studio Code. Okay, let me open a new folder. I'm going to create a new chapter called chapter 4, okay? So this is chapter 4. We are going to teach you object and classes. Okay, first thing is that you need to know about an idea called record. Okay, record. What is record? Okay, when we talk about a database, we are talking about data processing. Okay, so when we talk about database, so a database, you may have a student. Student may have a name, may have an ID, okay, may have a age, may have a data field called GPA, okay. So name would be string, ID may be an integer, age may be an integer, and then GPA may be a 14-point number, okay. So this thing, we call it a record. Okay, a record is a data record. It's an entry of a database. So if you have a larger table, more students, so student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, then we call it a table, a data table, okay? And then each of the line, ID, this ID line or this string line, last time we talked about it, is called a series in what? In the so-called Excel file. We call it a data series, a series. So a series is a column. A student ID student is a student is called a row. So it's sometimes called row, sometimes called category. Okay, last time we talk about Excel file, we talk about it. And right now, we also call this one row or one category, we can call it a record as well. And a collection of record, we call it a database table. Is that okay so far? These are terminology when you talk about big database, okay? Now, a bigger database is more than a single table, okay? When we talk about a database may involve many tables. So let's assume that we have a database for school. So database for school, you may have a table for class. So this is class including student and a lot of students and name, ID, age, something like that. You may have a teacher, faculty members. Each faculty member has a name, ID, salary, age, something like that, okay? You may have a library for books. Okay, and each book name, book title, book actually borrow or return or record, those kind of things. So there are several tables, and then you can transaction file, say student borrow book. There is a transaction file for which student borrow which book. There is a transaction file for which teacher borrow which book. So this whole thing, we call it a database for the whole data system of a school. Is that okay? So we talk about data record, data series, data category, data table, and database. These are different terminologies so far. Any questions so far?
No.
No? Okay, so now we go back to talk about the record. Okay, record. So let's look at record. So a record, you really can represent in several ways. Record have multiple entry. Okay, so simple record that's still considered a student. Let's consider. Let's say this is student. Let's call Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. This student you can define as a dictionary, and this dictionary you have the name. Say Tom Cruise. You may have a age. Let's assume it's 20. Okay, you may have score. Score has multiple subjects, so you may have a list of 95, 80, 75, whatever. Okay, so let's assume this is a student record. So this record is record in dictionary format. Okay, and then you can do what? You can do print. Okay. Tom Cruise age. So this one we call it inquiry. Inquiry to is X for the data. Okay, X for the data. So its age is 20. Okay, based on the table. So you can create a table by including 10 students in a list. Okay, now create a table. Anyway, so this one is a record in dictionary format and then inquiry. Okay, and now we want to create a record in a different way. Let's copy the whole thing. Now let's actually create another one called record 2. Okay, so this record 2, we are going to completely design it in different way. And so we're calling a record in a class and object way. So first we'll define a class. So class student, okay, colon. This define a class. So you can do pass. And then that is the define for the class. Okay, but pass have nothing. This class we do not have nothing. Just like a function, you can have a pass. You have nothing. Now you can have a define underline init underline. Okay, and then you put self and then name and then age and then scores. Okay, so this one we call it a constructor. Constructor is to build a object. Okay, so you actually have this one. This one actually is just like constructor in Java. Java uses the student name to constructor, but here we use it init. Okay, init is, we call it when you have a underline function name, we call it a magic function. Or the under function. This is double under function. Okay. And double under function is a magic function. Okay. So this kind of thing, if you want to search internet, you can basically go to the internet, say in like Python D under methods. They have told you what is double under function. It's called magic methods, and it's a special method in Python class. So underline init underline string. These are default function to be used. We call it double under function or magic function or special functions. Okay. So this underline init is to initialize a student object. Okay, a student object. So right here, self is needed. Self means this variable in Python. Okay, so this means current object. Okay. Okay, now let's do this. So that's right here. You do say this that name equals name. I'm sorry, not this. It should be self. So self's name equals name. Self's that age equals age. Self that scores or scores. Okay, that's actually up to here. Okay, just up to here. Let's actually look at it. So let's do this. Let's do Tom Cruise. So Tom Cruise is a student. So you use this student class name, put in like here. You will call this init function. Okay, and then you put in your name is Tom Cruise. Your age is 20. Your score, let's put in 98, 80, 76. Okay, what's wrong with it? How comes that is to score any? Okay, I think it should be fine. Okay. Oh, here I'm missing the comment. That's why it's actually give me a warning. Okay, so anyway, this created. So then we will do read rules that age. Read rules that name. Read rules that scores. So these are inquiries. So this one, build a data entry. Build a data entry. Okay. So what I want to say is that record 1 and record 2 is similar. It said that record 1 using dictionary to store the data. Record 2 using a class to store the data. That's it. That is wrong. So we still get these. Any questions so far?
No.
And this actually, if you look at it, it's actually also the same when you go to your library, your directory. You go to here, you go to chapter 4, you create an Excel file. And here let's call it record. And then right here, you have your name, your age, your score. Okay, that's score. You may put the score, let's call it math, English, and physics. And then entry here, you do have student. Let's use student ID. Okay, here, let's put ID. And it's 1. Okay, student 1, let's call it student 1 is Tom Cruise. Age 20. This one 98, 80, 75. So these are this create an entry. This create an entry in Excel table. Okay, and we can read this Excel table to Python as well. But right here, I'm telling you this is one record. You can also use a database tool, SQL, to build a database record. Okay, so right here we are talking about a record, how you actually build a record. Okay, build a record. You can build a record in dictionary. You can build a record in Excel. You can build a record in class. Which one is easier depending on which tool you use? Okay. So right here we are teaching you object and class. Let's continue. So init is a constructor. Init function is used to build an object. Okay, a build object, and you put the data in there, and you can access the data by using the print function in this way, using the object name and then data field. This data field, everyone created by self.variable name. So this current object's name is name, current object. So this is a parameter variable. You get the input of Tom Cruise, the name, and assign to here, 20 to here, the list to scores. Okay. Now, after that, you can have define. Okay, let's do get name. Okay, so get name, you need to have self, and you will return self name. Okay, and then you can define get the age. Your self object, you will return age. I'm sorry, it should be self.age. There's no age because you don't have the variable called age. So you need to use a current object's age. So self.age. Define, get the mass. Okay, so this one should return scores. 0 should be void, okay? This one should be self_0, okay? And then define, okay, get the English, so self, return self, scores 1, okay? Define, get physics, return self, score 2, okay? Now these are getters, and you also can have setters. Setter is to update. So update your name, self name, okay, and then self name equals name. These are to update your name. Okay, so the same thing you can basically copy as, okay. So you can set your age. These are setters. Okay, and next one, we don't need that many. Okay, we did some of them. So remember, this different define function need to be aligned right here. That means it's the function inside the class. Okay, so they need to be aligned. So then you can have set mass. Okay, you have selves, and then you have mass score, and then you would update the scores 0 by the mass score, and then scores 1 by the English score, okay. And score 2 by the English score. Okay, so these are getter and setters. Okay, getter is to get the data field, setter is to set the data field. Okay, these are so-called getters and setters. To get and set your data fields. So you have an object, there are several records, there's several lines, several series. You can update each individual data field by doing this. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
No? How about Belinda? Are you okay?
Yeah.
How about Liana? Are you okay?
Yeah.
So in a way, dictionary is easier to use, okay? And this class is a little bit more complicated, okay? Now the last one I would like to talk about today is define, underline string, underline cell. This one is another magic function. The purpose is to, it actually is to, it's a toString function. Okay, it's called underline str. It's toString function. So right here, to return. Okay, let's do return, and then let's do have this. That has the name plus the name plus change my mark. Okay, here let's actually do self. Okay, and this is too long, so we do plus and then change line. Okay, because I want to put it in more lines, so age, okay, plus str, because the age is an integer, so it's not a string, so you need to use str, and then plus, and then change line. Okay, and the last one is let's use the scores. Okay, this one I have a mistake. So that is okay. So basically, we convert everything to string and then return it. Okay, convert everything to combine table. So this one's main purpose is to do this one is to string. String means that you will convert a object to string. So that's to cruise. This object will be converted to string. So with that actually run it. You print this part for you. That's the toString part. Is that okay so far?
Yeah.
For someone who never studied Java, maybe a little bit more difficult right here, okay? Because Java teach you better object-oriented programming. How about Liana and Belinda? You guys know APCSA maybe feel a little bit more complicated, okay, here. Is that okay so far?
Yeah.
So basically, what is an object? An object is a student one, and student one by itself, it has a data of the name, data of the age, and also it has a data field. Okay, there's a name, age, and scores. These are data field, and the object also have methods such as get mass, set mass, getter setter functions for update the data or getting the data. This whole thing, we call it an object, okay? This whole thing, we call it an object. So we can also do this, we can also do, so here, inquiry, we should also have the getter and the setters. So we can have doing, okay, rules that get mass. You will retrieve the mass score for you. Okay, that's called getter. So 98, that's the mass score. Okay, any questions so far?
No.
Okay, so this is a brief introduction of what is a class. So class means this template. This template used to design a record, that's we call it a class. An object means that you actually use that template to create a data entity. This data entity, we call it a object, or data entry, we call it an object. So an object really is a line in the table. And then class, it actually is what kind of the data field we have in the table. This one is class, and the entry is object. Okay, that's how I look at it. Okay, any questions so far?
No.
No? So, but in reality, you can also use the Python dictionary to store similar concept, okay, here. And you can also use the so-called JSON file. Okay, we do have a JSON editor. Right here, I already have some data. So right here, I'm not going to change it. So you do create a table of name, cache, security, and that. Okay, and it is in the JSON editor. So this JSON editor later will teach you when we go to JSON editor. Okay, but right here, you just know that table can also be built by this JSON editor. Later, we'll teach you SQL and also JSON editor and pandas. Several different ways to build the data, okay? Okay, now today let's focus on using the so-called graphic and object, okay? So that's the object. Now, next one, we are going to, so this whole chapter we are dedicated for the object and class and use that to call the Windows library, okay? So now we don't want to go into the detail of what is class and object. Let's directly jump to graphics. So for the graphics, I actually have a the user manual for the graphic.py that we have. This one I already posted in the group right here. When you move up a little bit before this one, I do have this graphic.pdf. Please download this file. Okay, please download this file. It actually is this user manual file. So let's look at this user manual file. Okay, let's look at this user manual file. So this user manual file is a user manual for this graphic.py. This is a Jianglera's library. Okay, and Jianglera has a good textbook, but it's based on the TK Inter. TK Inter is a tool, and Jianglera's graphics is on top of TK Inter. Okay, TK Inter is a standard library for graphics for Python. Okay, so if you want to know about TK Inter, you can actually just go here and then you type Python TK Inter. Okay, there will be tutorial for the TK Inter. Okay. There will be tutorial comparison of the TK Inter libraries. Okay, TK Inter beginner course. Okay, if you interested in this, they are TK Inter library course. Okay, anyway, we are not going to cover it. Okay, TK Inter is a little bit too complicated. Okay, so far it is too complicated. We will be just focused on Jianglera's graphic.py, but Jianglera's graphic.py is based on TK Inter. That's what we use. Okay, now we are going to go into the graphic.py. Okay, we are going to use it. So before you use it, you need to import graphic. Import graphic. Okay, import graphic you can do from graphic import star, or you can do graphics import graphic. Okay, so if you import graphic, then you need to use graph.graph.win. That's more difficult to use. So let's actually just do the way first. Let's call it first.py. That is the first py is the first graphic.py. So let's do first.py. Okay. Okay, so you do from graphics import star. Okay, from graphic import star. So then you have the window equals graphic win. So you do put in your title name. That's called first window. Okay, that's actually have 800, 600, something like that. Okay, so you create a window using that, and then let's have a now. And when you finish, you do window.close. Okay, that's it. Let's just do it in this way. Okay, save, and let's run. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. Something wrong. Okay, something wrong. Something wrong because we do not stop the program. So right here, actually, it go to close and it get out. Okay, so maybe it's pop up, but we never see it. So one way to do it is that you do this window.get mouse to let it wait until you get a mouse click. Okay, so let it wait for the mouse click. So let's do get mouse. Okay. Let's save again. That's wrong. So the window pop up. Okay. You can click this one to exit. You can click and you will get mouse and you will start. So right here, this one is a constructor. This constructor will build a window of 800 by 600. And then the title is first window. And it's waiting for you to get the mouse click. And you click the mouse and you go to this close. If you don't click the mouse, the program will not go to the close of the mouse. Okay, one more time, let's run it one more time. So this first window show up here. Okay, any questions so far?
No.
First window show up here. 800 is this width, 800 pixel. 600 is here, is actually this pixel. And these are three variable, and this one is a constructor. Constructor will build a window. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
No? No, it's okay. How about Liana? Are you okay?
Yeah.
And then it is waiting for me to get a mouse click because I haven't clicked it yet. So I come to here in the middle, click it, and it will get the mouse click, and then you will actually return. So if you want to do it, you can do coordinate. Let's call P. Okay, so P equals this one. And then you do it in the P. Okay, if you like, you can do it, okay, this way. And then you click. So it gives you the X and Y for you. It's actually P is a point at 4, 25, 2, 11. That's the X and Y you have. That I click at. It's okay?
Yeah.
But if you, okay, so this one actually, if you actually get the data, but if you don't want to get the data, you actually just don't print it, don't get it. You will dump the P information. Nobody receive it, you will dump the information. Okay. Nobody receive it, you will dump the information. Let's keep it here. Okay. Let's actually still keep it here. I want you to know that it actually is a point data. So when you run it, okay, let's keep it here. Now next one, let's actually create another one. Let's call it Japan.py. Okay, Japan.py. So now let's do this one called Japan.py. Okay. So this one from graphics, import, start again. Okay. And then this one we do window equals graphics window. So this graphic window is the BOA window. So if you want to know about it, here is tell you graphic window object, what variable should be, and then what you want to have. Plugin function, plot pixels, set background, list different things, get mouse, check mouse, get key. Okay, these are have different function right here. Okay, close. So this graphic window that's actually called Japanese red. Okay, and then still 800, 600. Okay, that's graphic windows that graphic windows. And then we do window that set background. Okay. there is a set background function. There is a set background function by color. So this color, let's put in black. Okay, it's not black, it's white. Okay, but let's put in black. Okay, I just want to show you how to create black background. Okay, and then we create something called circle. So that's called sum, which is sum equals circle. So this is circle would use a point of the center. The center is 400, 300. Radius, that's called 100 radius. Okay, so it actually is circle of the center point versus radius. That will create a circle called sum. Then window would draw that circle in there, and then we will do window.getMouse, and the window will be closed. Okay, let's see how it works. Window that's really wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. Something wrong. Okay, let me see. Is it called, actually, it is called graphic object. I'm sorry. It's actually the opposite. This one is wrong. It's actually sound.draw window. It's sound drawing on Windows. Okay, and actually is object. Let me see, something wrong. Okay, something still wrong. Actually, Window.getMouse. Window.getMouse is something wrong. Window.getMouse, let me see. How comes the Window.getMouse can close the window? Let's see one more time. Something is wrong. Wrong. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So this is a circle right here. Actually, we do not assign the color, so we do not see the red. So let's do this. Let's do set field. Okay, this is set field. We need to use a red color. Okay, here I missed this one. So actually, field the sun with red color. That's what we need. Actually, I forget this one. Okay. So set background is set the background of the flag to be black. Set field is to fill this circle with red. Okay, that's wrong. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
And you click close, you can click and you will be done. Okay. And you will, that's actually fine. So right here, let me change this black back to white. Okay. So as you can see, there is a black outline there. Then you might not want that outline. Okay, so you set field to be red, sign that set outline also red. We don't want the field is inside. Outline is the outside the line color. Okay, so everything is red now. And it's a little bit too small, so let's change it to 150. Okay, now it's more like a Japanese break now. Any question so far?
No.
So this one teach you how to use object and class. So this graphic win is a constructor, and there are a few parameter fitted into there to build a object of certain parameter. And this is a setter function to set background, setter function to set the circle's color, setter function to set the outskirt of the sun, setter function to draw the circle on the window, getter function to get mouse position, close function to close the window. Okay, these are what we use so far here. Okay, these are the a join a single circle. Okay, now let's actually do this. These are Japanese.py. We have a single circle, but sometimes you may want to draw several circles. So let's copy this whole thing and then create another one. Let's call it 3.py. Okay, 3.py. So this one called 3.py. So here we are going to import random. Okay, we will, in addition to the graphic, we will also import random. And this one, you create a window, that's fine. Set background, that's fine. So here we will define a function. Here we define a function that's called draw circle. Okay. Draw circle, give me the circle that's actually draw circle on certain window. And then okay, and then you will actually have the foreground color, background color, and then your center point, your radius. Okay, let's actually have these different parameters. And then we are going to cut this whole portion. Put it right here. Okay. So this one, let's call it C1. It's no longer sun. Okay, so let's call it C1. Circle 1. Circle 1. So right here, your center point should be put over here. Radius should be put here. Okay, your background color. So this one is, oh, you do have background color. So this window, the set background need to be cut as well. So this one is set background could be the EG color. Okay. And then fill to be the foreground color. Okay, and then this one is a foreground color. This background color you may want to be in the circle, may not want to be in the circle. So let's take it out. Okay, let's actually put it over here. And then delete this background color. We probably don't like it. Okay, probably don't like it in the circle. So let's put it over here. So we set the background color. So this background color, let's put it as black, turn it back to black again. So we will do Windows. Let's do draw window. This was draw circle, windows, and then this one is red. This one is 150. Or there's a center point. So this is a center point, should be a point of 400, 300. Okay, that's up to here. Okay, up to here. So the Japanese program being updated to, so this one, let me update it to the window now is for 3, suppose. Let's run it. Okay. Now it's good. Now we are going to copy it for 3 times. Okay, so here we will use a random integer from 50 to 150. Random integer 50 to 150. Okay. Random integer 50 to 150. Okay. Okay, these are different ones. So this is a point we have, this X and Y. So here the X should be equal to random integer of 200 to 600. Y equals random integer of 100 to 400 to 450. And then put your X and Y over here. Then this one we will create copy and paste over here. And then this one we are going to change it to from 50 to 340. 300 to 550. Put this as X and Y. So X, Y are reused, but it's okay. We are going to use it to draw different circles. That actually should be fine. 450 to 720. Here actually 44 to 140. Okay, so we randomize the XY for each point. Now we are going to randomize for color. So the color actually is right here. You have the object. Now you have the point method, line method, circle method, rectangle method, polygon method. Actually, that's you don't know about the color, so let's actually do Control F and then say color. Okay, let's see color. So there's a set color, set outline. You can have a color, set text color. We don't want set color. Set text color, we don't like that. We are not looking, we actually want to have the RGB color, okay? So the RGB color, like where is RGB color? Oh, it's called color RGB function. Right here, let's actually copy this one, okay? So this one called color RGB function. And there are 3 numbers. Okay, it's called color underline RGB function. Okay, it's called color underline RGB function. So let's call color underline RGB function. No, we don't see it. There's no such thing as color RGB. Let me research it again. It's called color underline RGB. Let me see. Let me actually check the internet. Maybe internet has the information. Nice this RGB. They do have a color RGB function, yes. So here is color RGB and 3 number. That's fine. Okay, let's just call it in that way. Okay. So we do have a color RGB function. So right here, we're going to call it RR, GG, and the BB. Okay. And then here we will do RR equals random integer from 0 to 255. Okay, 0 to 255. And then we are going to copy this whole thing for 3 times. And then this one to be GG and BP. Okay, and then these 3 things we cover one more time. Copy it one more time, put it over here. And then this color, we will replace it by color RGB function. Put it right here. Put it right here. Okay. Okay. And then this one we need to copy for one more time. Put it right here. Okay. Good enough. Good enough. Let's actually do save. That's wrong. Something wrong. Something wrong. Something wrong is where I'm missing a D here. Okay, one more time. Okay. Okay, every time different location. Any questions so far?
No.
No.
Now this one you feel okay, you draw circle, and then this thing apparently is repeat. So right here, let's do another one. Define, draw, random circle. So it's a define, it's calling define circle. So you do here, and then you cut this whole thing. Cut this whole thing to be here. So you randomly generate XY, RGB, and draw circle with the color and point and the random locations with draw random circle. of the window. So this is a draw random circle of the window. We are going to delete these two together, okay? And then we are going to copy this draw window circle for 3 times right here. Okay, so draw 3 circles and save, and let's run. Okay, so what you see is that I actually work on the general case first. Make sure it work, okay, and then I put it into a function. First, I put it into the draw circle function. Second one, I put into the draw circle function. Draw circle function calling draw circle function. By doing that, you actually will build up the whole system. Now, this one, we are going to do define main function. Okay, main function here, you are going to push it in. And then here you do if underline name, underline equals underline name, underline. You run the main function. So this one make it a only run if it is the same module. So this draw circle and draw circle, random circle can be used by other module if needed. Okay, if needed, it can be run by other module. So right here we are actually in the same module. We run it this way. Okay, now that's actually this is 3. So let's actually create another one called use 3. .py, okay? So this one is called use3.py. Okay, so here we are going to import, okay. Let's actually do import 3.py. Okay, we import 3.py. And then we will do this. Let's actually do, let's create a main program over here. So let's define main function right here. Let's do window equals graphics win. Okay, here let me use 3 colors. Okay, and then right here let's do 1200, 900. Make it a bigger one, a bigger window, and window will be closed at the end anyway. And before we end and close the window, we will use window.getMouse is for sure. And then window.set the background. This one will be, let's use white color. We are going to change different background. Let's change different one. I don't want to use white color. White color not pretty. So let's do beige color, okay? And then we are going to use 3. Okay, this module is called 3. So it's called 3, but draw random circle of the window. That's it, okay? So this one, let's actually copy 2, 3, 4, 5. So here, let's actually change it to colors. Oh, I'm sorry. I forget to run the main program. Okay, if you don't run the main program, no thing will be done. Sorry. Let's run it now. Something wrong, okay? Something wrong. graphic will not define. Oh, graphic will not define. I'm sorry. So from graphics import stuff. We actually never import this. That's the problem. One more time now, actually. Okay, by graphic now. Okay, the window is much bigger and we are centered in here. Any question?
No.
Okay, so this one is to draw this one called, this one is to draw the so-called circles. So we teach you the first function, draw circle, and the point function to give the coordinate of the point function. Okay. We also do circle. Next one, let's actually try to do drawing some line and rectangle. So let's do rectangle first. Okay. So let's do rectangle first. So next one, we are going to do color pad.py, color pad.py. Okay, so it's a drawing rectangle now. Okay, so we are going to from graphics import start. Okay, and then Windows equals graphic in of color pad. Here would be here is actually 800, 1200. Let's see. 800 by 60. No good. 840 by 60 should be 14. Okay, so let's use 840. Okay, let's do block, constant block size. Let's use a 60 as a block size. Gap size, let's use a 2 pixel for gap size. Okay. And then that's our block size and gap size, two variable that we have. Okay. And then next one, we do window that close. Before we close the window, we will also get do window that get mouse. Okay. Now we are going to draw many block. So each block we will do for actually for each actually row actually for each row in actually here it should be range of from 0 to the 1,600 divided by 60. So that would be 20. Okay, that would be 20. So here, let's actually use a new variable called rows. Number of rows you have. So the rows should be equal to 1,200 by 60 divided by 60. Okay, so here we will use rows. So many rows, and then columns in range of the 0, and then columns. So here we define columns equals A40 divided by 60. So right here, we are going to change another one that's called width equals A40 height equals 1200. Okay, these are two parameters we use to calculate the row and column. So when we adjust it, it will automatically change it. Okay, these are system variables. Okay, so we got this, we got that different one. Now we get it. Now next one we are going to do, we need to define, we actually had 3 colors. So here we do have a draw circle. Let me copy this draw circle then. So draw circle, you will have you go to the so-called this one, let's go to the draw color pad. So right here, we are going to define a draw circle. We'll change it to draw rectangle. Let's call it draw square. Okay, we'll draw square. There's a function called circular foreground. And then there is, this is not center point. This is called top left corner. Okay, so that top left corner. We need to know about the top corner, left corner, and we also need to know about the size. Okay, so you will create a rectangle that's actually called R1. Okay, so R1 would be creating a rectangle. So let's look at a rectangle. Rectangle require 2 points, point 1 and point 2. Okay, point 1 and point 2. So point 1 and point 2. So your top left variable, that's it's a point. Okay, so your x should be the top left but s. Okay, and then y should be top left but y. Okay, and then your rectangle is creating a rectangle of the point. Okay, here you will be x plus 2, y plus 2. Okay, and then point number 2 will be x plus size minus 2 times 2. Okay, and then y plus size minus 2 times 2. Okay, so this 2 actually is something called gap. So this one, let's change it. So this is actually x plus gap, y plus gap. This is the x times 2 times gap, y times 2 times gap. So what happens is that you given a xy right here, we are going to draw the point right here, 2 below. Okay, 2 below. 2 point below it. It's also is a gap plus x plus gap, y plus gap. Okay, 2 point below. And right here you plus the size minus 2 minus 4. So this point is actually size x plus size will be here minus a gap. I'm sorry, just minus a gap is none, not minus 2 gap. Let me actually just minus 1 gap is none. Okay, it actually is xy minus 1 gap is none. So fill the background, set the outline to be the same color, and then draw the rectangle. That's good enough. Okay, that's actually good enough. Okay, that will be your will be your draw rectangle. So this one we get row and column, and then we are going to draw square based on the window and the color we need to create RGB. Okay, so we need to copy the random RGB in. The random RGB are here. Okay, and then we are going to put it over here, create a 3 colors. So red, red, green, green, blue, blue. Okay. Okay, and then this one we need to import random anyway. So import the random. Okay, and then here you do color RGB of the RGGB. Okay, that's the color. You will pass into the function top left corner will be a point of the row and column. Column is Y, so column times the block size. That's the X. That's the X row times the block. Okay, that's your point. Okay, that you actually have the draw square. Draw square have the ground color that okay, and then your block size is block. Gap size is gap. That's it. Okay, so this one you will continue to draw so many different one, and that's safe, and that's wrong. Something wrong there. Something wrong there. Let's actually check. Top left is not defined. Top left is not defined. Do you mean top left? Oh, I have a typo. Change it to all lowercase. Let's run one more time. Is that okay so far? Yeah. Something seems to be wrong. Okay. I think my XY is actually may have mixed up. So width is A40. Height is actually this one should be height. This one should be height. Row is the number of the height. This one should be this. Okay, one more time, okay? Okay, so this one is like that. Okay, now let's change it. So here, let's actually change it to make it smaller, 720. This one, let's use 960. Let's see, make a smaller one. Still too big. Okay, let me see. This one, let's use 600. Okay, 900. What's wrong here is here we need to change the width and the height as well. Okay, I'm sorry. So this become a parameterized window environment. Okay. Okay, it actually now is a color pad. Better. Now that's actually since this whole thing is not depending on the parameter, so let's actually cut this one, put a function on top of a global variable. Okay, so the main program is here. You have the global variable and then global variable definition, and then you have the draw of the every pair and get out so far, something like that. Okay. So that's the path. Now let's actually have another one. This one, let's do another function called, this is color pad, okay? So let's copy this color pad to another one. Let's actually call it, let's copy this color pad and paste it. So we are going to use a color pad number 2. Okay, number 2. So this is the number 2 version. Draw square is still there. Let's actually do another one. Draw actually define function is one called clear screen. Give me the window. I'm going to clear screen. Okay. So this is a clear screen where have you should have the width and the height. Okay. So you given this width and height, what we want to do is you will do a rectangle of this. Copy, put it over here. You have the R1, but this R1 you will use point of 0, 0, and width and height. Okay, and then you also need to have the background color. Okay, background color. So basically, you create a rectangle and then you need to fill the color with background color. Okay, so your R1 set to background color. R2 also set to background color. R1 set to background outline also set to background color, and R1 that draw on your window. So this one will draw a rectangle for the whole screen using the width and height. So basically, before you do this right here, we are going to before here we will do clear screen of the window by black. Okay, so here window, let's set background by black. Okay, so you clear screen, you clear the background by black, and then you also put in your width and height into there. Okay. Now you have a new parameter here. Let's do BG color. BG color, background color. Okay. So background color, let's just define it as a black. Okay. So here let's put in BG background color. Let's put in background color. So this version is actually modified from your previous version. Okay. So we set the background to be black color, and then we draw everything the same. Let's do it. Something wrong. Something wrong is clear screen. Okay, I miss a E. Let me put it at E. Okay, sometimes it happens. Something still wrong. HEIGHT. So the height EIGHT is an EIG. Okay, I'm sorry, spell it wrong. Okay, so it show background now black color. Now next one we would actually do import the time. Okay, so right here, this whole thing up to here, we are going to do a while true. Okay. And then we actually have the whole thing inside. Okay. And then you draw the whole screen, you clean the screen and redraw it, clean the screen and redraw it. And every time you do time the sleep of 1.0, 1 second, you sleep for 1 second and redraw. You sleep for 1 second and redraw the scene. Is that okay? Is
Yeah.
that okay? This is cycle-based design. Every time you have cycle, each cycle is 1 second. This is cycle-based animated design. The previous version is only a version that no cycle base. So now we add the cycle base into the graphic design. Okay. I think we have quite a lot of things involved today. Okay, quite a lot of things involved today. So let's go through the slides, and we are going to wrap up this chapter. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Graphic design, we
Yeah.
still have a lot of things we can do, but that's too many. Okay, so let's actually wrap up this chapter now. So basically, we started from drawing a simple window, then we join the circle, and then set the background, set the field color, outline color. Okay, draw the circle. The outline, sometimes you can change the outline to be thicker. Okay, you check the user manual, then you can check. Now, next one, you actually, we look into the join tree. So you actually group some comment together to a circle, draw circle function, draw some comment together to a draw random circle function. Okay, that actually you can draw 3 static circle. And then we go into the color palette, we draw the rectangle or square now, and then parameterize the system. Okay, next one, we actually go to the color tool. We not only parameterize the system, but we also actually add the cycle-based design there. So let's actually do 540 versus 340. Okay, let's change it. And then the whole system is parameterized, so it actually becomes smaller now. Okay, let's actually do it here. Let's do another one. So 480 by 720, 720, 720. Make it even smaller now. The whole system will be scalable. Scalable because we set a parameter. So this parameter, we change it. It's a whole system of parameter. Then we can actually easily program how many blocks we want to have, how deep this one would have. So based on this, we can design the game of 30s. Okay, game of 30s. We can design the game of 30s. Okay, so here we are up to here. Now let's go back to the slides to check the chapter. So this chapter teaches you how to use the object and classes. So object may have some measure, may have some data field. Okay, so no matter is the data field, you need to use a cell self.x, self.y, okay, to become an instant variable. The function, you need to define a function f of self as the first parameter. Okay, that would be the instance measures that you, when you define, you need to remember that. So here you actually import a graphic.py. We already download it for you. So you need to use graphic.dat, but we don't like this one. So usually we use it from graphics. Import everything. Okay, import star. If you don't use it from graphic, you use import graphic, then you need to use a graphic.list. Okay. So after class, you need to work on some homework. Okay, you need to work on some homework. So you can do point, and then you can get x, get y as the point. You can also use mouse, get mouse, you get the location of these 2 points, okay? And you can also draw a single dot for the points, okay? Using the point to draw in under that. You can also draw line. There's a line function. You can draw line, you can draw circle, draw oval, okay? Several function right here. You can check draw in a line, draw in oval, okay, how to do it. Here we don't repeat that, okay? That's a simple graphic. So this one, it teach you the object of the graph window, line, point, rectangle, text, polygon, and image, different classes. So constructor is to build the object, okay? And then you do have, you can call this different functions. So there's a user menu, you can do it, okay? And then this one, join graphics. So it's using the rectangle to draw each one of these, okay? You can download the code of the future value to draw it, but usually we don't use it this way. We actually just use the Python to draw graph. That's much faster, okay? So this one, but if you like the code from this graph, future graph.py, you can type in this code from here, or you can download it from our code samples, okay? You will do text box on each of the bar to draw the text and the bar for you using rectangle to draw it. Eventually, you will draw some graph like this, but it's taking a lot of time. Nowadays, we don't encourage you to do that. We encourage you to use Pilot to draw it, okay? Using Pilot is faster. And the color name, you have 3-dimensional color. So here, if you use the name white, is here, okay? Beige is over here. So these different names are available if you use the color name, okay? All lowercase should be fine. But if you want to use RGB here, you also have the RGB value that you can use, okay? Here are the RGB value that you can use. Okay, there are clickings for 3 triangle, those kind of things. So today we're up to here, okay? We're up to here. Any question?
No.
No? How about Belinda, you have any question?
No.
Any homework problem?
No, I don't think so.
How about Liana, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's it for today, okay? Good night then, bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye, bye-bye.